Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Adam Venture, and welcome to the video. Today, we're going to talk about why I have 9 credit cards. But I also want you to come out of this with valuable information, so I'm going to explain why you might want these as well. So this will also be like a top credit cards for 2020. Before we get started, please gently consider patting the like and subscribe buttons. Petting the YouTube algorithm is quick and free for you, and it helps the channel out a ton. I read and respond to every single comment, as long as they're not negative or toxic, and I even throw in the heart too. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the cards that I actively use, since that would be the most relevant to you. I'm going to group the first 4 together due to how the reward system works. These 4 belong to the Chase suite of credit cards. They are really powerful because of the 50% redemption bonus you get from the Chase Sapphire Reserve when booking travel through Chase. On top of this, you can transfer all the points from the other Chase cards onto the Chase Sapphire Reserve to get the redemption bonus for those as well. 1 point is equal to 1 cent. So if you have 10,000 points, which is about $100, you could actually book a $150 flight with those points through Chase Travel. Now, if I took those same 10,000 points and I redeemed them for, let's say, a gift card, I'd only get $100 on the gift card instead of $150 for the flight. So normally this is awesome, but because of the whole C word thing happening in the world right now, people are obviously not traveling as much. Chase actually has you covered with a really cool deal. You can use your points with the 50% redemption bonus, which normally you would only get on travel, to reimburse your account for certain charges. The most notable are any grocery stores, dining, or food delivery services. So basically any food expense you would have. I honestly didn't expect Chase to do anything like this, so I gotta give them props. I'm not sponsored by them, but Chase, if you want to sponsor me, I won't say no. I already used 4 of your credit cards, so what's a little sponsorship, right? It's one of the best ways to maximize rewards for people like me who travel a lot, and now for anyone who eats food. That was tough to keep a straight face for. So the star of the show here is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. On top of the redemption bonus, it comes with a metric ton of other benefits. Most notably, 3% back on dining, which also covers most bars and places like Chipotle, and travel, which covers Ubers to flights to hotels. You also get an annual $300 credit for anything in that travel category as well. It comes with a ton of other perks too, but these are the most notable. So assuming you are getting that 50% redemption bonus on your points, you are actually getting 4.5% back on those categories, which is very solid. The annual fee is $550, but if you take out the $300 travel credit from that, it leaves you with $250, which I more than make up for in the points that I earn from it. Next up, I have the Chase Freedom. With this card, you get 5% back on select categories that they choose each quarter. It's basically your standard rotating categories card. Again, same as the Sapphire Reserve. You take your points and you transfer them over to the Sapphire Reserve to get that 50% redemption bonus, which actually brings the rewards up to 7.5%, and it has no annual fee. I pretty much only use it for the really big categories. For example, this quarter is Amazon, and in the past they've also done PayPal transactions, dining, and groceries. Besides these really big categories, I don't use the card too much since I'm not spending enough on these categories to make it worth the space in my wallet. The third Chase card I have is the Inc. Business Preferred, which I use for my e-commerce business. I use it to track most of my business expenses, separate church and state. But it also gives 3% back on online advertising and shipping, which goes up to 4.5% after the redemption bonus. These make up 80 to 90% of my total business expenses, so I earn a lot of points off of them. So not only am I getting rewards from those business expenses, they are also tax deductible. So I'm getting that discount double check, or whatever it was. Discount double check. The annual fee is $99, but again, I more than make up for that in the points that I earn. For the last of the Chase cards, I have the Freedom Unlimited. This is my general use card for anything that doesn't fall under the coverage of the other 3. Not much else to say about it. It gives 1.5% back on all purchases, which goes up to 2.25% after the redemption bonus. This is pretty solid considering the next best is 2%, which I also have and we'll be talking about in just a sec. So those are my 4 Chase cards I have that work really well together. They cover a wide range of expenses, so if you're looking to maximize your rewards, I highly suggest looking into them. Alright, now for the cards that I don't actively use but I still have open. Let's talk about that 2% card now, the Citi Double Cash card. This was the second credit card I ever opened. As the name implies, it gives 2% back on all purchases with no annual fees. This is the best standalone cashback card for general purchases. So if you don't want to go with the Chase cards, this one is perfectly awesome too. This was my second credit card I applied to when I was around 22 years old. I remember struggling to get it since I barely had a credit score at the time. Applying for a credit card is not always a guarantee. I had to apply several times and even send them an email on why I should be accepted. So even if you get rejected from a credit card like I did, don't give up. You can always wait a bit to improve your credit score and then reapply. Even though I don't use this card anymore, it still helps to keep my credit utilization nice and low. I also have that line of credit available in case of an emergency. So the first credit card I ever had was the NFCU Cash Rewards card. I got this through my bank when I was around 18 years old. I had no credit score at all back then, so this was basically the only one I could get. There's really nothing special about the card. It gave 1% back on all purchases when I originally got it, which has since been bumped up to 1.5% over the years. The credit limit I got when I first opened this guy was around $1,500, which was more than enough at that time. I remember thinking there was no way I'd ever spend that amount of money on my $300 a week paycheck. And now that $1,500 is like the bare minimum I have to spend between rent and food now. Anyway, I only had a standard debit card at the time, so it was literally better than nothing. This card was the first step I took towards increasing my non-existent credit score. This early start helped me get the better cards that I have now. If you don't have a credit card right now, it's never too late to start, even with a really basic card. The third card I ever opened was the Capital One Samuel L. Jackson card. Some of you may know it as the Quicksilver card. I found out about it from a very good buddy of mine. At the time, it gave about 1% cash back on all purchases, but this was not the reason that I used it. It also gave 50% back on all Uber charges and all Spotify charges, and it had no annual fees. I was living in a large city at the time, so Uber was a pretty common expense since driving was oftentimes not an option. I also got to have my jam, so the half off Spotify was not a bad deal either. Capital One phased out these perks years ago, so I really don't touch the card anymore. But it had a good 2 to 3 year run. There's really no point for me to use this card anymore because the benefits are just mediocre, but it could be a very good beginner card. It now collects dust, keeping my credit utilization low, which raises my credit score just like the others. The 8th card I have open is the Amex Blue Cash Erryday card. I literally opened this card just to use for churning since it has no annual fee. Credit card churning is where you open up a credit card, you spend just enough to get the sign-up bonus, and then you never touch the card again. The only use I have for it now is sometimes at shows and festivals, they have like an Amex lounge private area where you can chill and get drinks. To get in, you need to show your Amex card, and you can bring in 3 to 4 guests. So it's more of a VIP pass than a credit card. Like once I get in, I still just use my Chase cards to pay for stuff, but at least it's good for something. The 9th card I have is the standard corporate Amex for my job. There's literally no benefits to using it. I just use it for work-related expenses and I don't get any points off of it. Not really much else to say here because it's used for personal expenses, but I do keep it in my wallet for work stuff. All right, that is all 9 of my cards. Yeah, I might have too many. Hopefully you learned something from this video, especially on how to optimize your cards to get the most rewards out of them. If you want to learn more about credit cards in general, check out my video on reasons why you should be using them. If you enjoyed the video, please consider gently tapping the like and subscribe buttons. Petting the YouTube algorithm is quick and free for you, and it helps the channel out a ton. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.